me again. It's been a while since I posted, aside from the chronic illness journey. I'm out of breath. I just cleaned all the trash and recycling out of my car, so I'm tired. So I apologize for that. I also didn't want to film this in my car because I film everything in my car and I feel like it gets kind of boring sitting here watching me talk in my car. But my house is loud and I can't seem to find a time when Olive is not playing Marco Polo with the next door neighbor or something like that. And this is big, important news. Okay, so a week ago, I had an appointment with my new rheumatologist, which I was going into really nervous, as I think I talked about at the end of my chronic illness journey video. I just assumed it was going to be like every other doctor's appointment. He's my grandma's rheumatologist, so that made me feel like a little bit better about it, but I was also just like, it's just, that's how doctors treat me, right? So it was a little, it was made sense for me to not think differently. But I went, I had my binder, I had printouts about hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos, and I had the criteria because I was going to be like, I don't care if you don't think that I meet the criteria, you have to actually test me on the goddamn criteria first. So I was all prepared. I was so nervous. I wanted to like get up and leave as we were waiting for him. The nurse did all the vitals and everything and got us up, and my mom was with me. I might have already said that. Brain fog. He hadn't gotten to the office yet, so I don't know if he was at his other location or out to lunch or whatnot. But they left the door cracked. And so then I heard when the nurse, that was me rewinding because I said his name and I'm not going to do that. Thank you, doctor. She's in the room waiting for you. And I like turned to mom and I was like, let's just go. Let's just sneak out of here before he comes in. It'll never have to happen. The medical system is a real, very real trauma to many people with chronic illness. So, yeah, I mean, I was feeling it. Anyway, he comes in and he looked so friendly. Like, I was like, oh, he looks like a friendly person. He was like, hi, Emma. And he like introduced himself to me and he introduced himself to my mom. And I had to fill out paperwork beforehand, like a new patient packet kind of. So I had written down about my symptoms, and there was like a, what are you hoping to achieve from this appointment? And I wrote down that I wanted to be tested for EDS or to be referred to somebody who could. The criteria for hypermobile EDS. And he sat down and he had the papers. So he had already read my symptoms and an overview of my symptoms and why I was there and what was going on. And so he didn't ask me about everything all over again. He was like, so I see on here in your papers that you would like to be evaluated for Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Can you tell me why it is you think that might be a possibility? Like, not in a mean way or anything, he was just curious. So then I started talking about, all the fun stuff, the dislocations, the bruising, all of the... There's too many to list. I'm not going to do it. You guys may know. And so then he asked questions about like medical history and like some specific things that I don't remember, but he got a very detailed overview of the last 14 years of my life. Like, not just on the joint stuff, but it's my whole body is multiple systems have been affected by whatever it was that was causing it. So we talked about all of that, and then he got up and he said he was going to start to do a physical examination. I think we covered criteria B and C in that talking, the backstory and everything, but the actual hypermobility test he hadn't done yet. So he did all sorts of, you know, checking of my joints. He would like rotate my shoulders in a certain way, and he was like feeling, and then how far it could go, that kind of stuff. The fingers bending back, and knees and elbows and all that. I don't know if my elbows are hypermobile. He did not say. I don't think they are. Slightly maybe, but not really. And then he had me lay back on he laid the chair back and then did my knees and my ankles and all of that. And then as the shoulders, things behind the back. And I showed him I could do the thumb one and the prayer position behind your back. And when you cross them over to, I can't do it. I can't remember which way I can do it. But all of that. And he was very thorough, checking all the joints. And then he went and he sat back down. And he was like, I think you're right, Emma. You have hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And I was just like, oh my God, I didn't let myself believe that this could actually happen. Like, holy crap. It was, I just like kind of sat there. I wanted to just like let this big grin out on my face, and that's so strange to think about to somebody who doesn't have experience with what chronic illness is like, an undiagnosed chronic illness. To be happy to have a diagnosis like that. It's about years of not knowing what is going on with your body and being told you're faking, and it's your anxiety and so many different things. And then to have the validation of a doctor actually taking you seriously and believing you and evaluating you, treating you like you're a person, and that he really cared about what I had to say as the patient, as the person living in the body. He thought my binder was so cool that I was so organized. He was really impressed that I knew what Ehlers-Danlos was and that I knew about the different types and some of the different criteria. So like he didn't like scoff at me or anything that I had my medical stuff organized in a binder because he's the doctor, he used to be doing the job. It wasn't like that at all. He really cared about what I had to say, which is as it should be, because it's my body. I know what's going on inside of it. I'm the only one who can feel it. So, also what I could think of was I was just thinking like, whoo, my primary care doctor is going to be embarrassed. A little bit evil, I know, but do I care? It's a question. So then he talked for a while about what hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos is, which I knew all of what he was telling me because of all the extensive research I'd done. I sat and I listened. He knew so much about it. That was part of what blew me away, is that like he knew the criteria. He didn't need the checklist or anything. He knew what it was. He knew which parts to check. He knew which questions to ask. He knew so much about it, and I was just, that felt really good too, to not have to I didn't have to convince him. He knew that what I was saying and what I was experiencing connected with this condition, and so it was remarkable. I don't use that word very often. And I got a referral to, basically there's not, if you don't know what Ehlers-Danlos is, I should probably make a video explaining that sometime, when I can have a quiet house or a quiet car. But it's not very well known, and regular physical therapy can actually be more damaging, because of how differently your body is, what's the word? Like put together, I guess. That stretching is not going to be, just stretching, not good. Stretching in a way that makes sure you're not overstretching and loosening your joints to the point where you're going to start dislocating them more. It's really important. So he only knew of one physical therapist in our area that specifically works with patients with EDS, which again, awesome that he knew one, like, wow. And so I sent a referral over there for me to start working with him instead of the other clinic that I was going to. And I called today to make that appointment because I'd been giving it time for the referral to go through, and I got an appointment for 3 weeks from now. I was expecting it to be longer. Like, oh my gosh. So, I mean, like, it's just so cool to me that he, I mean, doctors should know. That's the bottom line. But most doctors do not know. So, the fact that he knew what it was and was explaining to patients that it's the collagen and that it's about, it affects your whole body and it's not something that you can just change because it's in your DNA. So he went all into depth about that, and it was really just amazing. And I walked out. Anyway, we decided we didn't make another appointment with him because at this point there's not a lot he can do. Most of the pain medication options can react badly with well, not react badly. They can cause my lithium levels to shoot up since I'm taking lithium. So at this point we're just going to kind of hold off on that, and I can make an appointment with him if ever something comes up. So my mom and I left, and it still doesn't really feel real. You know, you search and you search and you search for the diagnosis, and trying to keep yourself, trusting yourself that what is going on is real, and to not doubt yourself because of what other people are saying. It's hard. And then for it to actually happen, and a little bit for me to have been right about what it was. Like, I was like 85-90% confident that that's what it was. So I'm not surprised at all that, or I didn't think I would be surprised at all if I was diagnosed with it. But to actually get diagnosed with it was just, no words. This is getting really long, so that's the basis of it. With one last thing. My mom had been grocery shopping before she met me there, and she was not at our usual store. So there's these cookies that our usual grocery store used to have, and they stopped having them. They're like massive peanut butter cookies, and they half covered in chocolate, dipped in chocolate. And she had bought me some, and she had bought me 3, and she had told me when we were in the waiting room that she had gotten a surprise for me at the grocery store. And I guessed what they were. I don't know how I managed that, but guess what they're called? They're called peanut butter zebras. How freaking perfect is that? I totally ate them as I drove home. So I think that's where I'll wrap this one up. I can't formulate it into words. My journey is certainly not over. It's never going to be over until it's over, and that's morbid, so we're not going to talk about that. But to know what is going on, and to know that you have something that you can back yourself up with on that, even if the doctor, even if whoever the person is still doesn't believe you, words. You knew that what was going on in your body was right, and it was the truth about what was happening. But now you have, I kind of think of it as like armor. A diagnosis is like armor to protect you from a person saying they don't believe you, because it doesn't matter what the hell what they think. They don't have to believe you. The people who can do anything about it, besides yourself, are the doctors, and if they don't believe you, it's a whole other situation. So, there you have it. Officially a zebra. I should eat those cookies more often. That is my cat's foot because she's grooming herself. Oh, there goes my dog. Love that. So I'm sitting, this is actually, I'm sitting on a piano bench. I feel like I should just wait until they stop barking. Blurry. Okay. That's... Hello. Welcome to the real world. Blurry. Okay. Thank you.